For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen, longtime UNK senior head athletic trainer and associate athletic director of sports medicine. Bill Murphy was inducted into the Nebraska State Athletic Trainers Association Hall of Fame on Friday night at a special ceremony in Kearney. He says that was certainly quite the evening for him and his family.
You know, Jace, it was pretty surreal. There's some people on that Nebraska State Athletic Trainers Hall of Fame that are some pretty important people to me. A couple, 2 or 3 of those people on that board were mentors of mine at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. You know, George Sullivan, Duke LaRue, Jerry Weber. And then I was fortunate enough to be recruited by Kathy English to come to UNK 30 years ago, and Kathy's also on the NSATA Hall of Fame. So to be up there and to be recognized by your peers and then knowing that my mentors and kind of the trailblazers of our profession in athletic training, the pioneers, so to speak, it's pretty humbling and certainly extremely grateful. And but it is nice to be recognized by your peers, and it was pretty exciting. It's a great evening. Lots and lots of friends and former coaches and family were back, so it was really cool because, you know, through the years, you know, it really is about the relationships and taking care of the athletes and coaches. But yeah, it was pretty exciting and pretty good weekend.
Do you remember your first day working in Kearney, helping out the Lopers?
Yeah, I do, Jason. It's kind of interesting because, you know, coming from Hershey to Nebraska, Lincoln, being exposed to Division I was a little bit hesitant to even come back and look at the position at UNK. Interesting, I came back for the interview when I told Kath I was interested, and I was going to interview, but to be honest with you, I had a friend that was getting married, and he had I think it wasn't his actual wedding, but it was a bachelor's party. So I thought, well, I'll go out to Kearney and go to that, and then I'll go to this interview on Monday. Well, I show up on Monday, and I didn't realize the Health and Sports Center had been built.
Wow.
Because I had driven through, being from Hershey,
yeah.
All my relatives were from Columbus. So as a kid, all I knew about Kearney and Kearney State and UNK was the Coliseum. And so I hadn't realized that building had been built. And then I was pretty impressed with the facilities and the people, and things just kind of worked out and kind of never looked back.
What's kind of your philosophy been over the years when it has come to treating patients, specifically college athletes?
You know, really, Jace, it's about establishing a relationship, a professional relationship with your coaches and your athletes, and you got to get them to trust you, that you know what you're doing and that you're there to take care of them. And it's not just the prevention, care, treatment, rehabilitation of athletic injuries. It goes beyond that. Like, you have to have that skill set and that training. But, you know, these days, and especially, you know, even early on, it was about having that trust factor, because kids will come to you not only with injuries and, you know, aches and pains and all that, but, you know, what is kind of what's really intriguing about our profession is it's not just that. I mean, I've had kids, many kids through the years, come through my door and want to talk about, you know, my boyfriend or girlfriend issues or my grade issues or mom and dad issues. And, you know, at a certain point, I realized that this is more than just their physical injuries. And so I frequently visit with my staff about, you know, we're in a position to have a positive impact and can really help these kids at a critical time during their lives where, you know, they need someone to talk to, because a lot of times they don't want to talk to their coaches. Because they don't want their coaches to feel like, you know, they're weak or they got something going on. So if there's a trust and a relationship of someone they can develop with in the athletic department, and a lot of times it is athletic trainers, because we're actually around the kids more than the coaches are. So, I mean, if you talk about their seasons and their off seasons in the summer, you know, I was working with, you know, one of our women's basketball players yesterday, and here, you know, it's June. Mm-hmm. So, but that's, it's pretty rewarding to be able to be in a position to be able to do that, Jace. I mean, I take that with a lot of responsibility. So, it's certainly been a very rewarding career. And, I was fortunate to be directed in the right direction when I went to Lincoln. And, I feel kind of blessed and lucky because sometimes people don't find that path early on and, they jump 2 or 3 different careers or jobs, or I've been fortunate that I kind of figured that out at an early age.
This is a job that you can't just do from staying in the office. Tons and tons of miles and road trips over the years for you. You certainly have got to feel like you've seen it all.
Yeah, Jay, especially early on because I was traveling with football and I just still do travel with football. And fortunately, I do have a staff now where I can kind of divvy up the responsibilities a little bit better. But yeah, for 23 of the 31 years, I was with football and men's basketball. So a lot of road miles, especially with basketball, as you know. I mean, because they leave on a Wednesday or Thursday and then they're not home till Sunday. Many, many trips through the mountains in the RMAC days and we get into the MIAA days. And, but I would say that time was, in my particular situation, was a rewarding situation for me because I got to travel with men's basketball, and Coach Kropp and I established a really close relationship. And working with Coach Kropp and the men's basketball team, Jayson, to be honest, was like being on vacation. I mean, I went from football to 15 guys, and Coach Kropp made it so enjoyable and so much fun that I kind of looked forward to those trips. Granted, my wife and my son had to sacrifice, and with me being gone a lot, but very few of those trips I ever thought, geez, this is going to be a long one. But most of the time it was pretty fun to get on that bus with Coach Kropp so him and I could just sit and visit and figure out all the world's problems.
Well, congratulations on your huge honor. You got any plans to slow down anytime soon, or you going to be at this for a while?
I don't, Jace. I mean, we're pretty solid here as far as my wife and I. And, the other thing is, we're the link between the athlete and the physician and the athlete in the emergency room. Well, I've got so many good relationships with the medical professionals here in Kearney. It makes your job so much easier. And, and I'm definitely in the second half of my career, if not going into the fourth quarter. But, they say games are a lot of times won in the second half or fourth quarter. So I'm going to try to finish strong, and I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. I may shift and do a little bit more administrative associate AD work with our athletic director, Mark Bauer. And so I'm kind of looking forward to shifting a little bit more responsibility of that. But for the most part, I'm still going to be doing what I've always enjoyed doing. And my passion is taking care of our athletes and overseeing strength and conditioning and our equipment room and just kind of staying where I'm at.
And that was UNK senior head athletic trainer Bill Murphy. Bill has been in charge of the athletic training department at UNK since 1994. For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen.